this quick little update video. Another quick video. I'm literally just now leaving the gym. I just gotta let y'all know this is one of the most significant facts about semen retention. Is if you relapse or when you relapse, it absolutely destroys your strength in the gym. It destroys your performance in the gym. And I was thinking, I was like, dude, like, if I knew this back in high school, dude, like, I would have went to the NBA, dude. I mean, literally, like, I would have went to the NBA. Especially, you know, if I was like 6'4", it's a guaranteed fact I would have went to the NBA. I'm 5'11", you know, 6 foot with shoes, but I still think I could have went professionally. I got a scholarship to play college ball, but that was after tearing my ACL. And I think the whole reason I tore my ACL is because I wasn't on semen retention. And it was like crazy, because I remember my girlfriend at the time, you know, I'd be fapping, and then when I had this girlfriend, you know, I'd be hooking up with her. She was at that game. I think it was the first game she went to, and she was there when I got injured, tore my ACL. I'm like, dude, talk about bad luck. I don't think that's a coincidence or anything like that. I think I tore my ACL because I was not on semen retention. I had no clue what semen retention was. But I just had such a terrible workout, dude. I feel like such a pussy. I might as well be transsexual, dude. Like, I might as well be Bruce Jenner turning into Caitlyn Jenner. That's how much of a pussy I feel like right now, dude. Like, it absolutely destroys your performance, endurance, strength in the gym. And that's something I've always noticed. Like, even if my finances were going terrible, my romance was going terrible, social life, all that was going down, even though I was on a high streak of retention, I always said, no matter what, in the gym, your performance in the gym is better on semen retention. At this point, it is an objective, mathematical, scientific, biological, you know, just start throwing in words, you know, cosmetological, you know, there's cosmological, whatever. You know, it is a fact. A fact. You will perform better in the gym on semen retention. Do not take for granted being on a high streak on semen retention. Like, I remember I was 100 plus days, even 200 plus days. And I sometimes I'd get lazy, or I'd be like, I don't want to go to the gym, whatever. Like, I got other things to take care of. But then anytime I would go to the gym, I would dominate. Even if I wasn't in a consistent, you know, consistency in the gym, I could take a week or two off. I'd go in there, I'd just be, boom, pushing. I'd be like, dude, this is easy. But in reality, that's when I should have been in the gym 5 days a week to take advantage of that. Because now I'm like, dude, I want to go to the gym. Dude, I felt like a pussy just in the gym just now. Like, literally, I barely did anything. I said, like, because I remember I could do like 8 pull-ups, 8 to 10 pull-ups, you know, or I would do like 3 sets of 5, which is 15 total. Or I'd do 20 total, something like that. Dude, I just went in there, I said, 1, 2, I said, oh, I don't want it anymore. Like, I could barely do 3 pull-ups. And then I was like, I was curling, and I just wanted to go home, dude. Now, there is partially that I did have a migraine a couple days ago, so I purposely didn't want to go too hard. But it's like, dude, like, if you can't even do 3 pull-ups, and I was repping out like 3 sets of 6, 3 sets of 7, 3 sets of 5, whatever, and I wasn't even that consistent in the gym, you know, back whenever I was on high streaks. It's just like, dude, it's an obvious correlation. Like, I just have no motivation, honestly, not even the gym. I have no motivation to do anything right now, dude. Like, the SR, it's like relapsing, it just sucks so much. It literally takes all your gains away. Well, not, you know, whatever you built up until this point, but it's like like, you're just gonna notice a difference. Your endurance, everything. Like, I was doing some abs, and I was just like, dude, I don't even want to be here, dude. Let me just go out of here. And now I'm probably just gonna go DoorDash or whatever. And I have no motivation to do that either. Like, I just have no motivation to do anything. Certainly not working hard in the gym. And it's all 100% due to relapsing on semen retention. And I'm just like, dude, if there's any high school kids out there, any middle schoolers, whatever, watching this, athletes, you 100% need to be on semen retention. Like, it is like, dude, I can't believe, like, because back in high school, as good as I was, like I said, I probably would have went to the NBA, honestly, if I'm not, like, capping it. If I didn't tear my ACL and I was 6'4", oh, I 100% guarantee would have went to the NBA. But even if I'm 5'11", but I didn't tear my ACL and I stayed on and I knew about semen retention all throughout high school, dude, I would have been starting varsity in 9th grade. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm saying, if any younger men or younger boys, I guess you would call them, are watching this, dude, the biggest secret, the biggest sauce, because I would always do that, I'd research and be like, what's like some secret knowledge I can get from, like, research and find out how to make the next level up again. Like, what's gonna put me ahead of everyone else? The number one thing that's gonna put you ahead of everyone else is semen retention. Because as good as I was performing and as much endurance, I used to have a lot of endurance, believe it or not. Now I start off to puff and walking up the stairs, but I used to have a lot of endurance back when I was in really, like, middle school and high school basketball shape. And I wasn't on semen retention. I knew nothing about it. Dude, I can't imagine how much better I would have been as an athlete if I knew about semen retention all throughout school. Not only that, you would have been more popular, more girls would have liked you, more people would have respected you, the coaches. Like I said, if you get on semen retention, you're watching this 8th grade right now, if you get on semen retention, you never masturbate, you never fap, you never ejaculate, you'll be starting varsity next year, 9th grade. Basketball, baseball, football, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that you have unlimited endurance and strength when you just keep that sexual energy rejuvenated within you and you transmute it into endurance and strength or whatever. But when you release it, you waste it all. And it's so obvious with me leaving the gym. Like, I don't even want to be there. I went there because I'm like, all right, let me go to the gym. Because I was like, dude, I'm done with this DoorDash. Dude, this is pissing me off. It's just, I just don't want to do it, dude. I don't want to do it. So I said, all right, let me go to the gym. Usually you go to the gym, if you're having depression or anxiety or anything like that, or stress, you go to the gym, it solves it. Dude, I went to the gym, I realized how much of a bitch I was, because I was so weak because of relapsing. Dude, I got more depressed. Do you know what I mean? But then it motivated me to make this video. And like I said, like, if I could help anybody, like, it is literally life-changing advice. If you're in 7th grade watching this right now, I remember telling this dude in Hawaii, pretty good hooper, I think he was in 6th or 7th grade, and he knew how good I was because we'd play there all the time, and he just asked me for advice. And literally, he was one of the only, like, people in real life that I gave game to with semen retention. I told him straight up, I said, dude, if you want to know the number one secret is going to put you ahead of everyone else, don't masturbate. And it's like I told him that, and he sort of laughed at first, like, are you serious? Like, it's going to, and then I told him some reason, I said, yeah, it's going to make you way stronger. Every time you release, you do that, you're gonna lose energy, you're gonna lose strength, you're gonna lose endurance. So I told him, I said, don't watch porn or masturbate or do any of that. That's gonna destroy your results in the gym. And as a, ball is lifer, he took the advice. I don't know if he took that. I'm not sitting there watching him every day, but I'm saying he was responsive, like, oh, okay, word. And he had potential. It's a good hooper, like 7th grader. So if he took my advice, I guarantee you, he's going to be starting varsity 9th grade. And I just can't believe how better I would have been in athletics and sports if I knew about semen retention, because it is the most obvious. Can't breathe. Hold on. Hot as crap in here. I got the AC blowing. It's making my mouth dry. But semen retention is the most obvious effect of semen retention, because people like to focus on women as, oh, I get to get women looking at me more. Who cares about that? I'm trying to get money. I'm trying to get gains. And I'm trying to get closer to God, which that's just a byproduct. All those are going to happen when you're on retention. But I think the most obvious, like, whoa, I realize the difference is in the gym. Like, it's just, you can't deny it. I don't know how anybody, I'll make a separate video. I'm going to make a separate video on why you shouldn't listen to people who have never done semen retention talk about semen retention. Only listen to people who have done the semen retention talk about semen retention, because they know what they're talking about, because they're actually doing it. So anyone who says semen retention does not have any effect on you in the gym, they're lying. Because I think this is objective facts. I don't even think this is subjective. Because if you take 100 men, because it's already a proven objective fact, you get to 1 week. Through studies, it shows your testosterone boost. So just imagine, how much more truth there is, but without studies. If just a couple studies have been done that shows your testosterone 150% after 1 week, just imagine how much more benefits there are that there's not research on, So I say if you take 100 men and you say, all right, you all need to be on semen retention 100 days. You say, all right, you lift on a Monday, whatever. And then they relapse that night or Tuesday. And you say, all right, we're back in here Wednesday. Do the same exact lifts you did. I guarantee you every single one is going to be weaker and less endurance. They say, all right, do this lift and run 2 miles. Let's see how fast you can do it. Let's see how much you can lift. Like, that's why I think it's subjective. I don't think it's going to be like, 30 of them if it affected, but 70 of them did it. No, it's going to be 100 out of 100 are going to have an effect in the gym. If you relapse, it's going to have a negative effect. If you're on a high streak, it's going to have a positive effect. But I'm going to get back to work. I don't even want to, dude. I'm just like, I'm so, not motivated to do anything. But actually, the only thing I'm sort of, looking forward to is I'm gonna buy this trading bot for $150. Because this dude, usually, it's this thing, you buy it, $150, and you have access. It's like AI technology. It's like the robot doing it for you. They make the calls, and then all you got to do is put the trade in. Usually, these type of things are like, it seems too good to be true. I don't know if it works, whatever. But this one is literally like, you could see the results. You can verify it. You could literally just look up the chart. You could look up all the stats and everything is there, verifiable. Like yesterday, he called one. The bot calls it. You pay $150 for a month. You have access to the whole bot. So I'm just gonna save up $150, buy that. In every single trade, I'm gonna put like $50 to $100 in until I catch a big one. Because literally, this dude posted. He said the gem bot caught another one. They called it at 33,000 market cap. I was looking at it $1 million. Do the math. That's 33x. That means if you put $100 in, you would have 3,300 a day later. I mean, I would much rather do that than this DoorDash crap. But then the crazy thing is, I looked at it at $1 million from 33,000 when his technology called it. And I was like, dang it, dude. I just missed another huge call, because he's been calling these every week. It's happening 100x, 50x, whatever. This one was a 30, it was 33,000, 1 million. And I was like, I missed it. That's crazy, dude. I went to sleep. I looked at it this morning, that same one was 5 million. So even though I missed a 33x, I still could have made a 5x overnight. So then that made me be like, oh no, I'm buying this, dude. That'll be the most worth it, best investment of $150 ever. Because if I put 100 in and I just get a double or a triple boom to 300, that already covered the whole cost of the monthly access to this technology right there. And all I need is to catch one boom. You know, I'll put $100 in, get a 20x boom, 2,000 boom. Or put, you know, $200 in, get 5,000 out, something like. I just need one big boom like that. If I could just catch a boom, I don't know what to call it, other than boom, because that's just like a boom, you know what I'm saying? That's like, dude, I'm sitting here trying to do all this trading crap by myself, liquidated, losing. Dude, this bot, it's averaging a triple on every call it makes. Last I checked, like, that is a hack. That's a life hack. That's a treasure chest that not a lot of people know about. I guess that's why it's called Gem Bot, you know, because that's a gem. If you discover that, and I make a couple W's, that's all I need. Because I have these longer term investments, but I need to strengthen those long term investments. I don't even check it anymore because it got so depressing how much money I've lost. But let's just say 5,000's in there. If that does a 50x, 5,000 50x, that's $250,000. That's good. But that's not, you know, I used to have 850,000. I'm at least trying to lap what I used to have the last bull run. The best way to do that is to make a multiplier when the market's still down, and then boom. So like Demetra, I've told people about Demetra. In fact, when I first talked about it, it did like a 6x the next couple weeks or whatever. So that was a good short term, but then ever since then, it's just been down. It's disastrous. But they're doing non-stop things like fundamentals and partnerships or whatever. Like, they're building as the price is going down. That's a good sign that it's super undervalued. So I'm still super bullish on Demetra, but I'm wanting to strengthen my position. What is this woman doing, dude? She was like staring at me as she drove by, and now she just stopped right there in the middle of the road. Creepy, dude. It's just like, go along with your day. I don't know. Maybe I'm the one that's in a bad mood, whatever. Anyways, it's just a little bit distracting. I hate when that happens, dude. You're in a flow state, and somebody drives by just staring at you. It's like, yeah, I'm making a video, get out of the road. Look at this, they're blocking everybody else, you idiot. Anyway, I'm getting in a bad mood again. Because I'm thinking about how much money I've lost in crypto. But anyways, but the point is, like, let's say I have 5,000 there, and then if I could just put, if I only risk 100, 200, 300, whatever in this AI bot, and it catches me a 50x or 100x, which this dude is doing like every week. And dude, she's still there. Oh my gosh, dude, that's so creepy, dude. Get along with your day. Look, let's see if she looks. Oh, I did. Oh, I don't even care. Dude, it's like, pay attention to the road, dude. That's weird. But nosy people, it's just annoys me. Maybe I'm in a bad mood. But let's say I put $200 in. It does a 25x, which is, it'll go to about 5,000. That means I can double my investments that I'm holding for the long term anyway. So I had 5,000. To get a 50x, it goes to $250,000. But if I make a 20x over here, and then I take those profits and put it in that investment, now I have 10,000 in there. It does inevitably, moving forward, that same 50x. Now I just made a whole nother $250,000 because I have 10,000 in there instead of 5,000. So that's what I'm trying to do. Even better, if I catch a really big one, you could do like multipliers to where I put $100 in, I caught a 50x. Oh snap, the bot called it, I caught a 50x. There's now 5,000. Well, now you could do the really ballsy thing. You know, I might take some off the table, obviously, But let's just, for argument's sake, say, all right, now I'm putting 5,000 back in, or even 1,000. Screw it, let's just say 1,000, because, you know, there's no reality where I would put the whole 5,000 back in another trade. I would take some off the table and put like 1,000 back in. But let's say $1,000. Oh snap! You just caught another 50x, or maybe even 100x. Oh my god! Like that's, you're set. You're set. That's a W. You put 1,000 in. Now it's 100,000. Now you can take that 100,000 and in these long-term investments, which I don't plan on selling anytime soon until they make a huge move, instead of 5,000, now I could take that 100,000, literally put it all in this one that hasn't pumped yet, and then if that one does a 50x, that's now 5 million future profits, and I'm set for life. So that's my strategy. I just, you know, I was like talking about the gym at first, but then I was like, dude, I think this is huge, and I'm gonna test it out, and if it produces good results, I'll put y'all on, because I'm all about sharing good gems. And just to wrap this up, there's 2 gems in this video. The one I just talked about, crypto meme coin trading. It is risky, but if you can find the right treasure map, you can find the right treasure chest, you can literally be set for life. And I'm gonna try this out. $150 in. I put $100 in a trade. If I start making huge profits with this, that's gonna be my new focus moving forward. Like DoorDash, it's like, you know, I'll probably still DoorDash, but it's like, if I could, oh, speaking of which, I gotta get this Grubhub. But the other gem I was talking about is being on semen retention. Your results will be 100% better if you are on semen retention in the gym. If you relapse, your workout is going to be destroyed. Your strength and endurance is going to be gone. So simply don't relapse, period. Have a good day.